morning, there were 49 wildfires burning in Alberta, 7 out of control, 12 being held, 23 under control, and 7 that have been turned over to local responders. I want to underline to all Albertans that fire conditions remain extreme in the province and that several communities are battling wildfires. It's not just Fort McMurray, although without question this is by far the largest and most severely affected community. So we're asking all Albertans to be extremely careful and to do everything that they can to reduce all fire hazards. As we announced yesterday, we've declared a provincial state of emergency. This will help us provide the support that is needed for Albertans who have had to cross municipal boundaries to escape the wildfires. It also means that we can help coordinate the resources needed to fight the fire. On that note, Canada Task Force 2, a group of rescue and logistics specialists, have set up in Fort McMurray to assist the firefighting effort. In terms of evacuations, the communities, as you know, of Fort McMurray, Anzac, Gregoire Lake Estates, the Fort McMurray First Nation are still under an evacuation order. The Mackenzie County area near high level, that evacuation order has been lifted. Overall, more than 80,000 people have been evacuated since Tuesday. These are huge numbers to be dealing with, and it's a challenge to get an exact tally of how many people have been evacuated and where they have gone. Many people have arranged their own accommodations with families and friends, and others are staying at hotels or camping. So we do ask everyone who has been displaced to register with the Red Cross. It's very important that we know that, where people are and that everyone is accounted for. To those people who have been displaced from their homes, I want you to know that we have your back. You will be supported. We will ensure that those receiving benefits and services will be able to continue receiving them. For example, those who receive AISH or Alberta Works benefits by check will be able to get those supports in other ways. Please check our websites for details. We will continue providing 24-hour mental health support through our helpline. In addition, AHS is sending mental health support workers. They are already at the Northlands Reception Centre, and they are either in transit or arriving at SAIT, Lac La Biche, the Firebag site north of Fort McMurray, Fort Mackay, and St. Paul. For those Albertans and Canadians who want to help, and there are many of them, the best option is still to get in touch with the Red Cross. They are seeking monetary donations that will go to help shelter, feed, and care for those fleeing this disaster. Albertans can also call 310-4455 with their questions, and we will answer them to the best of our ability. So we have a very difficult road ahead with a lot of uncertainty as these fires continue to burn. But whatever road we face, we will face them together with the support of all citizens across this province. Now, for some additional specifics, I know you'll probably ask about updates on structures within Fort McMurray, and I can say that we're unable to give you an update on numbers at this point because firefighters have been unable to get close enough or to dedicate their time to that particular task. What they have been doing, however, is focusing their efforts in Fort McMurray in protecting key infrastructure and areas. As far as we know, we have an optimistic outlook for the state of both Timberlea and Thickwood, in that it appears as though firefighters were reasonably successful at ensuring that there wasn't tremendous growth of damage in those neighborhoods yesterday. Other key infrastructure areas remain protected throughout most of Fort McMurray. As you would know, the Regional Emergency Operations Centre had to move from its place beside the airport to Anzac and then had to move out of Anzac late yesterday. However, you'll be pleased to know that as of 1 a.m. this morning, it was reestablished by the airport, and tactical reserves from the unit that I described earlier were able to give some relief to the Wood Buffalo Emergency Operations personnel, who I believe have had a chance to get some sleep and are back at work today. The fire has grown to roughly 85,000 hectares in size, so it's large. Just to put it in context somewhat, in 2011, in that area, there was a 600,000 hectare fire. So this is a large fire. but we have dealt with them. The key issue is ensuring that we protect infrastructure and the community, and that is the work that's going on with the firefighters right now, and they will continue to do that work. With respect to evacuation, our latest numbers show that there are roughly 25,000 people who were evacuated north of the city, and our focus right now is on getting those people south as quickly as possible. Right now, we are working in concert with industry to do as much air evacuation as possible, and we are doing everything we can to establish, to open the highway so that we can get fuel up there and then get those folks moving south as quickly as we can, and we will be providing more information on that later today. Overall, with respect to services for the evacuees who are arriving in the centres and in communities across Alberta, there are a number of different issues that we are looking at right now in terms of how to support them, and I will have more to say on that issue later this afternoon. In closing, I want to once again commend the first responders, the emergency management staff who are working day and night in incredibly difficult circumstances to support their community, to fight this fire, and to keep people safe. I had the opportunity to meet with many of those people yesterday when I was up in Fort McMurray, and they are truly heroes. So I'm happy to pass it on to other people for some comments, and then we can take some questions afterwards. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Chad Morrison, a Senior Manager with Wildfire. So I'll give you an update on what happened on the fire as occurred of yesterday. So the wildfire continues to challenge wildfires with extreme wildfire conditions and wildfire behavior. Late yesterday, the wildfire grew rapidly due to the increase of winds. We had winds recorded on site of up to 70 kilometers an hour, and those winds came from the northwest. The fire blew out to the southeast corner late last night, and now, as the Premier said, the fire is estimated to be 85,000 hectares. The winds came from the north and blew south. We had tankers and staff continuing to work with the municipal fire department in the northwest, protecting critical infrastructure here. The extreme fire behavior that happened through late in the day and overnight. This is where the growth is in this area here, to the southeast. It had begun to create its own weather, even creating its own high winds yesterday, and even lightning was coming from the smoke clouds that it created. The fire has ran past the airport and our tanker base and warehousing facilities, but my understanding at this point is both those structures are still intact. From a wildfire perspective, we still continue to have 100 firefighters on the ground, 10 helicopters. We'll have at least 16 air tankers deployed today, if not more, protecting that critical infrastructure. We'll continue to work with the numerous other municipal firefighters, and Scott will continue to give an update on that. We also have more firefighters and tankers on the way from other provinces across the country. Quebec is sending 4 air tankers, should arrive sometime today. Another 100 firefighters are coming in from Ontario. And as we continue to get more information from our partners, we continue to have more firefighters coming in the coming days. The central focus for today for our firefighters is continue to support the municipal folks and the structural firefighters on scene to protect the community and the critical infrastructure out there. Today, we're expecting the fire to continue to challenge firefighters. Even though the temperature is going to be lower, around 16 degrees, we're still going to have very low humidities and the conditions are still tinder dry. We're going to have very strong winds from the northwest, up to 40 kilometers an hour. We expect the fire to continue to grow in the southeast corner, but it'll be blowing away from the community. And at this point, it continues to burn outside in the forested areas, and I'll turn it over to Scott for an update of any of the municipal side of things at this point.
Morning, Scott Long, Executive Director Operations, Alberta Emergency Management Agency. Quick update. As the Premier mentioned, CAN Task Force 2 which is part of the heavy urban search and rescue organization based out of Calgary, dispatched 2 incident management teams. They're the command and control elements that enable the ground forces to do what they need to do. They arrived at 1 o'clock last night, linked up with the Regional Emergency Operations Center that had been displaced temporarily from south of Anzac due to fire threat. The experts on the ground, firefighters, experts, made the decision that it was safe to move back up to fire station number 5 within the community. They've done so, and they affected command and control as of last night. This morning, 77 more community firefighters from, or structural firefighters from communities around the province arrived to augment the firefighters who are currently in place. Right now, we are looking at well over 200 structural firefighters and 25 engines in the community of Fort McMurray dealing with protecting critical infrastructure. As Chad mentioned as well, there was a period of time we were concerned about the airport, and that was briefed yesterday, again due to monumental efforts of wildfire fighters and structural firefighters. Their defensive efforts worked yesterday, so mild damage to the airport. It remains open for aviation and limited transport use. We plan on using that today to land food, water, and resupplies for the first responders using a D&D asset. Further, based on the numbers that we received this morning and the Premier briefed on, 25,000 evacuees in camps to the north. Had a conversation, or a meeting, I should say, with the a joint oil and gas industry emergency coordination center with representatives from all of the major players there, Enbridge, Noralta, CNRL, Suncor, and others. Great work, great cooperation, and great collaboration, and excellent work in terms of opening their doors and facilities for these displaced Albertans. Right now, we are trying to implement the transport of 8,000 evacuees from the north to the south via air, starting this afternoon in conjunction with industry resources and D&D resources. At the same time, we're doing an overflight of Highway 63 through the community of Fort McMurray, and as soon as we determine that it is safe to do so, we will coordinate ground movement as well. First step would be to move a mobile gas station, if you will, from Transport, Ministry of Transportation, to move north, make sure that everybody got the fuel they need, and then we will, in a control manner, start moving ground transport to the south to get most of the evacuees to the preferred locations in Edmonton, Calgary, where we have better support needs for them. There is one search and rescue mission that was active this morning using D&D assets, reported through social media of a possible individual east of Fort McMurray and an ATV. We were not sure if it was confirmed or not, but we're going to take all of those things seriously. RCMP and D&D joint operation dispatch search and rescue assets. To this point in time, nothing has been found, and that is ongoing. Thank you.
So we'll take questions from the floor and questions from the phone. I just want to warn you guys, we do have a number of questions on the phone, and I know you guys have a lot of questions as well, so we'll take as many as we can before these guys have to get back to work, okay?
Can you tell us more about the airlift? Where the plane's going to come from, what kind of planes, where the people being taken to?
Right now, sir, those details are all being worked, but I can tell you that our industry partners have aviation assets. They are prepared and committed to aiding us in the transport of evacuees starting today, and we're working rapidly towards that. We also have D&D assets, so we have a CJ-130 Hercules aircraft which can land in fairly austere areas. We're looking to transport medical supplies to the north, and at the same time we are going to start shuttling people back that want to head towards the south, and the primary destination would be Edmonton and the reception centers we're establishing here.
Why is it necessary to move people out of the camps in the north? Are they running out of supplies there, or?
No, as a matter of fact, There's still supplies, but in terms of emergency social services supports, the better locations are in the south. We have access to better support systems for displaced personnel.
The military right now, I understand that they have to be asked by the province to go in on the ground. There are 350 troops ready. When are you going to be asking for those guys to come in?
Right now, this is a precautionary as well. The military want to be ready at a moment's notice if we do have to call them in. They are conducting their basic wildfire fighting package as we speak to make sure that, and it takes a day to do. So they're doing that training. But right now, the wildfire fighters have more than significant reserves, and they can call upon other provinces and what have you, and I believe they are. Chad can talk to that. So until we've completely used up, exhausted those resources, we would not call on the Department of National Defense for boots on the ground unless it's in extremis. Chad, do you want to talk to the numbers?
Yeah, we currently have over 1,000 firefighters in the province fighting all the new starts that the Premier talked about, but we also have them set to move in as soon as need be based on the needs of the team and the fire. As you guys can see, that the fire environment is extremely challenging and very dynamic. Things are continuing to change day by day, not just day by day, but hour by hour. We expect to see more growth later on today, and so we are continuing to support and concentrate on the critical infrastructure pieces, and then once we are safe to get into the wildfire components out in the forested areas, once the town has been secured, we'll then continue to deploy additional forest firefighting resources out there.
Can you just clarify the numbers that came out this morning, the 49 fires, the 7 new or whatever, is that province-wide or is that just for
Province-wide, yes.
Any further word on a cause or no?
So a mixture of causes at this point. The majority of causes that we'll see at this time of year generally are human-caused fires, so that's why we want all Albertans to take extreme caution and care when out in any part of Alberta because of the dry conditions and the dry spring we've had. We're also into lightning season now too, so we're starting to